Hello, happy Saturday night for everyone that is tuning in live, or happy whatever day it is for those who are watching on the recording. Actually, before anyone joins, if you are watching the recording and you're one of those people that like to leave a comment and say sorry I missed your live stream, don't worry about that, don't be sorry, just if you can watch it back, that's absolutely fantastic. I'll try not to keep these so long that you're not able to catch up on it at a later date. Today's episode, video, live stream is really just about showing some UK thrash deep cuts that I've got in my collection, some of which you may well have heard, some of which hopefully will be new to you. Maybe you can discover some new bands. So, as usual, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. Make sure I am nicely lubricated. Going for the Guinness today. And why not? If, as usual, if you are joining, please say hello in the comments so I don't feel like I'm all on my lonesome here. I am used to talking to myself quite often because when the voices talk to me, I talk back to them. Hey Darcy. Oh, 7 so far, this is pretty good. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm hopefully going to get a few more on, but while we're waiting for that to happen, or not, I've got a track for you that I'm going to put on first. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to spin it. You're going to recognise the song, but this is a cover version by, it's a US thrash metal song, very popular, very well known, but it's being covered by a UK band. Let's see if you can guess who it is. Also, this is a bit of a test as well. You can let me know if the volume's decent enough. And by decent enough, I mean that you can hear me over the top. So again, this is not UK thrash, it's a UK band covering the US thrash band. Hey Mike. Hi Simon. I hope you're behind your scenes and not behind my scenes. So this is just a teaser. This is who sings this? Oh, that didn't the mystery didn't last too long there. There you go. Special congratulatory pat on the back for my dad. So this is the B-side of Tiger Tail's 12-inch single called Heaven. On the B-side, it's got a cover of Creeping Death and Who Sells. I may play out Who Sells at the end if I can remember. But Tiger Tails are a Welsh hair metal band, actually. This probably would have been around later, I guess. Maybe a bit later, but not what you'd expect really, a glam band covering thrash metal. But there you go. What do you think? Is that better? My levels right. I had a bit of a disaster about 5 minutes before. I got it all ready. Countdown, 2 minutes to go live, and then there was absolutely no sound at all. I managed to pull all the wrong plugs out. I realised I didn't have my microphone plugged in, so I pulled out the plug, put my microphone in, and I lost my connection to my hi-fi. So it was that all day to prepare. Last 30 seconds, almost all goes to shit. But, there we go. Also, my CD player has been playing it this week as well, so I've got a backup of my digital player. I just need to connect it up to my hi-fi, which I'll do now while this plays out, and then we can get going with some proper UK thrash. What I'm playing with back there is I've got a little Bluetooth receiver. There's lights that connects up to Bluetooth, really. So if at any point CD fails, I can got a digital backup. Yeah, hopefully some things you may or may not have heard of before, Simon. Probably you have, but this is all UK. This isn't to say this is my palate cleanser. This is Welsh hair metal band Tiger Tails covering Creeping Death. And as soon as that's gone off, we're going to dive in. I've got about an hour's worth of tunes to play tonight, so with the chat in between and no doubt a few tangents that go off, I'll probably keep myself occupied for about an hour and a half or so here. Wow, this is the longest song I remember. Tiger Tails are actually touring again. They're doing like a 40th anniversary or 35th anniversary of their debut album. Not everybody's cup of tea though. Yeah, I think it's a half decent cover for the stuff that they normally play. Good question, Simon. I think it's from around. It's on Music for Nations, but they never put the dates on. So I'm guessing it's around 89, 90. I'll see if it's written on the label. The other song there is Peace Sells by Megadeth, which is, I may play that out at the end if I want everybody to leave the room. No, they never put the dates on Music for Nations. Probably because they're timeless classics. Right, okay, let's get into some UK thrash. Now I think I'm going to start off with a more popular band. Most people who know a little bit about UK thrash will know about Slammer. I'm going to play a track off their second album, Nightmare Scenario. They literally just did 2 albums, disappeared for about 30 years, and then reappeared last year to play a one-off show at the Lords of the Land Festival in Glasgow, which I went to, and they were absolutely fantastic. This second album, and the track I'm going to play is In the Name of God, track 3, side 1. This album, I think, is a little bit harder to consume than than the first album, but let me know what you think. Get a lot of Metallica from Slammer. So this album came out in 1991. A little harder, as I say, to get into than the first one, but I think worth the investment. Killer output. There was only a couple of the original members. Unfortunately, is it Milo Zivanovic died a couple of years ago. I have done I've got the full Slammer discography, which is a couple of LPs, and there's like a mini LP and a 10-inch as well. There's a lot more less flow in this album. The songs seem to they don't gel as well together as the first one, but they're still good. So the bands I've chosen tonight, as I say, they're all they'll probably be B-list. Now I like my UK thrash and I like digging around and finding stuff, but I'm not going to stick my neck out and say it's better than the US or the German stuff. But I think it has its place, and there's definitely a good sort of core group. There's also some albums as well, but so I'm not going to be playing any like Acid Rain or Zentrix or Sabat today, or Acid Rain even. I think everybody knows those to some degree. I just kind of want to show some of the things that I've picked up. Brendan? Nothing better for you Aussie guys than a bit of thrash first thing on Sunday morning? Yeah, I've not got any Death Wish to play tonight, but those first two albums are pretty good. I think the first one is definitely more on the new wave of British heavy metal influence, and the second one being a bit more, I guess, full-on thrash. But yeah, both excellent albums. There we go. That stopped a little bit more abruptly than I thought. So that was In the Name of God by Slammer off Nightmare Scenario from 1991. Before I take that off, so the next up is too bright for white on my screen, so let's take them out. So hopefully this will be a little bit easier to see. So this is a band. Oh, it's not easy to see. If I turn down the brightness. There you go. This is a band called Arbitrator, and you cannot see the name of the album, but the album's called Balance of Power. Arbitrator from the Midlands, and these guys have very much a punk background, which I'll go into a little bit in a sec. This is a double CD set with their first two albums, Balance of Power and Darker Reality. We're going to play a track off the first album, and that track is called Deadly Assassin, which I think is track 8. Make sure everything is lined up. So let me if that is too loud in relation to my voice. So there's a UK punk band called the Verucas, who had quite a cult following. But when they kind of hit the hard times and thrash metal was coming in, and the guys in the band were getting influenced by the thrash stuff, a lot of hardcore bands in the UK went straight to thrash, and then they lost a lot of their audience because a lot of the audience just wanted them to carry on playing the hardcore stuff. Arbitrator were formed from the Verucas because they wanted to maintain, they wanted to be able to go back and reform the Verucas and not lose the fan base that they had. So they created Arbitrator, and they're still got quite sort of a punky thrash sound to them. Well, certainly this album does, which is Balance of Power. The other album, so this double album set, is called Darker Reality, which I think is even better than the Balance of Power. It's certainly a bit more melodic thrash. Let's see what year is this from. This is from 1991 as well. Definitely got that punky grit to it. Hey Jason, good to have you on board. No Warship yet. One day I'll do a stream dedicated to Warship. That you're going to have to watch my 2023 review stream if you want to know about Warship, because I get pelters about that album ever since I played a track in that live stream. Good laugh though. Indeed they did. I've always maintained, I think there are kind of 3 sources of UK thrash. Obviously, thrash metal wasn't developed from the UK at all. America and Germany were far ahead. Obviously, America took the lead. Germany made their own good improvements of it. UK were always playing catch-up, and they were playing catch-up at the time when thrash was on the nosedive anyway. And to me, there were sort of 3 types of UK thrash band. The guys are obviously influenced by the US thrashers, so you'll get a lot of bands that sound a bit like Metallica, a bit like Slayer, Megadeth, and Anthrax. Then you'll get the ones that were the hardcore punk bands that could see that hardcore and punk were on the decline and were excited by the speed of the thrash metal that was coming through. So you get a lot of punky thrash bands as well. And then the third category was really sort of the bands that were more into, I think, new wave of British heavy metal. And had thrash metal came along, I think they would have been bands that would have played traditional heavy metal, but around the time, this is the mid to late 80s, they had to speed things up, and they were excited by the US thrash as well, but they were more like sped up new wave of British heavy metal than any other particular sound of like US or German bands. If anyone has any favourite UK thrash bands, let me know in the comments. I'm still looking around. I mean, I've gone a little bit deeper than some, but I've not got myself an expert by any means. Without Mr. Glasper, my Bible, and this book is fantastic. It's one of the most dog-eared books I've got. And I'm not one for writing in books, but this one's got highlighting pen all over it. It's got corners that have been turned over to keep pages to get to. Great stuff. Right, so that was I'm not paying attention to the length of these tracks at all, so that was Arbitrator and Deadly Assassin from the album Balance of Power from '91. While I was playing that CD, I'm trying to do vinyl CD, so I've got the time to take the record off. But no, I just let that one spin in and haven't put it away. So yeah, that's the level of quality DJing. But I am not a DJ. This is not the radio. You're just gonna have to bear with the amateur status that we have here. Right. So next up. Oh, now this is one of my favourite UK thrash tracks, not bands. They're a band that didn't release an album. I'm going to get it actually. I have a demo, kind of like a demo cassette that they did, but this is one that I've made myself. I've shown this before. It's Wardance and Short Sharp Shock. Remember that name? And I made this tape in homage to an MP3 I found. So it's a 6-track EP. Sound is not that great, but I found the images off the internet and kind of had to make my own cassette. But I do have something on vinyl from them, and it's on this UK Thrash Assault compilation album from 1989. Few cool bands on here you might have heard of. Hydrovane, Pandemia, probably the two most famous bands from the UK on here, but Wardance as well. And they've got a couple of tracks, and the track on here called Officially Pronounced Dead honestly is one of my favourite UK thrash band tracks. And let me know what you think. It's actually not that thrashy. Now I've got to be careful here, because the labels, side 1 label is on side 2 and side 2 label is on side 1, and they're the same number of tracks. And in fact, one of the bands on here, I think it might be Sniper, were due to, or it might have even been Pandemia, were due to have their track played on the Friday Rock Show in the UK. And that's it. I think it was Pandemia was due to be having their track played, but Tommy Vance, because the labels are on the side, ended up playing Sniper instead. I think that's the way it went, or the other way around, one of the two. But yeah, so I want track 3, which is a Wardance, and I absolutely love this song. Right, so let me just make sure I've got everything queued up. Oh, it is killer. In fact, I don't actually think I've played the CDs that much. I need to. I just kind of like to just tend to end up sampling stuff on the internet when I've read about the bands and going out and trying to track something down. So these guys are in Glasper's book, as I say. They're called Wardance, and the main guy behind this band is Graham Jizz Butt, who was also in English Dogs. So after English Dogs had kind of finished up towards the end of the 80s, this was his project, but unfortunately it never went any further. I think he's on guitar and vocals. Have a listen. Vocals definitely on thrash. I'm going to see if I got any pictures of them in the book. I don't think they're even in the Glasper's book. Oh well. Pronounced dead. Hi Thomas. Hope you're having a great weekend. Yeah, he's been in a few different projects, hasn't he? I didn't realise he was in Sabbat though. Or Sabbat. There's actually two Wardance tracks on this album. There's actually this band as well called, if you were Welsh you would pronounce it as Llamedos Ril, double Lamedos R, two I's and L. I've showed this once before and I was confused by the name of the band, but apparently it's not Llamedos Ril, it's L2R, left to right, Sodomall, and it's as simple as that. So they're not a Welsh band at all, much to my annoyance. But Sodomall backwards, Llamedos Ril. This is a great compilation if you can find it, actually. 10 tracks, 5 bands, 2 tracks from each band. So what do people think of this track? Not that thrashy really, sort of more faster metal. Yeah, do you know what? I was thinking about that when Mike was talking about Sabbath. I think I'm sure he was in The Prodigy, but I wasn't confident enough to say that out loud. Obliteration. I don't think I've even come across that in the book, let alone in the wild. It's dead. Nice. I've not heard any of that, Mike. What sort of music do they play? Are they metal? Or is that back to punk? He's been across so many different genres. There we go. So that was Wardance, and officially pronounced Dead. You might be able to find the download of this online, or I think even Jizbut on his website you might be able to buy a copy, probably more official copy than the homemade version that I've made myself. Janus or Janus Dark, I thought it said Shark to start with. Imagine Punk Sabbath if you can. I'm gonna have to listen to that. That's a wee bit different. Okay, we're actually going to go to the 2000s next, and this is a band that I found just on a bored night trawling Bandcamp for some UK bands that I hadn't heard of, and this is another UK thrash band called Elimination, 2009, and Destroyed by Creation. The song I'm going to play is one called Rising from the Grave, which is track 9. Do the switcheroo. Hopefully this will work without the CD jumping. I did manage to get my... This is a great album, by the way, actually. look thrash metal, don't they? This is their first album. I think they're from Ipswich, which is in East Anglia in the UK. 3 albums out. This is their first. All the best, Brendan. Thanks for tuning in. I do like the vocals on this actually. Raspy. Also not in Glasgow's book. Lots of tracks on it. But this album's really good. Coroner was a band that I've not really dived into. And there's really no excuse for me not having done that, so at some point I'm going to have to go down that road. I think I actually thought when they came out with a name like Coroner, I was thinking more death metal, but I'm pretty sure they're more thrash. I've certainly seen them shown a lot on YouTube. I recognise all their covers, but yeah, just not one I ever got off my arse and tried out. So where's a good place to start with Coroner? Let me make that a New Year's resolution. Put the record away. That was part of the plan, wasn't it? I remember on my last stream, I was kind of complaining that the sound of my turntable was getting a bit wobbly. I've had an absolute bastard trying to track down the right size belt for it, because it's a bit of a like Technics rip-off my table. But I've still got the instructions, but nowhere does it say the size of the belt. So I've been trying a few different ones. I had one that was way too big and just wouldn't fit. One that was way too small. I've got a speed adjuster on my turntable, and literally just I had to have it on the slowest setting because the belt was so tight and it kept pinging off as well. But today one arrived, and this one seems to work on all the default speed settings. So I might have yeah, this was a great find. I've kind of forgotten. I've forgotten to go back and check out more about them. I bought this probably over a year or two ago, and it just went on the CD pile waiting to be played. And I've played it quite a lot over the last year. I really enjoy it. It's got the right melody and speed. Yeah, but that's a good one. That's a really good find. I'm kind of hoping that I need to check out the other albums before I buy them, because sometimes when I find certainly modern bands playing an old style, that I buy one album and I like it, and then I try to dive in deeper, and either the albums sound exactly the same, or they've tried something different and I don't like it. So it may be that they just stay as a one and done for me. Yeah, let's see. That's kind of what I'm hoping tonight, Robert. That I'm playing some stuff that people haven't heard before. I've had quite a bit of fun this week, just sort of going back and trying to pick out a mixture of old and newish tracks as well. And I've got plenty of UK thrash that if people enjoy this one, I can do another deep cuts. Cheers, Rod. I always have a beer on a Sunday morning, Aussie time. Never without fail. Right, next up, we are going to go to another band that originally sort of had hardcore punk origins, but there's not so much of that in their sound now. And that's Sacrilege Within the Prophecy. This is from 1987. I think these guys are from the Midlands. In fact, when I came up with my list and thought about the tracks I wanted to play and went through and started thinking about where the bands came from, a lot of the bands from today are actually coming from the Midlands, and it's not necessarily a hotbed of thrash metal, just the way that it's come out. Sacrilege are a little, I guess, different from a lot of these bands in that they got a deal. I mean, they're all Metal Blade, and this album is really good. The production's a little bit muddy, so it might be a little bit quiet as it comes across, but I'm going to play the track called The Fear Within, second track on side 2. Again, let me know what you think. Just make sure I get all the channels switched across. It would be so much easier if I just chose vinyl, just chose CD. I wouldn't have to do all this clicking about. Right, okay, The Fear Within, track 2, side 2. Not bad. My needle drops are getting a little bit more accurate. This one has a little bit more of a, almost like a fuzz to it, like a faster doom. I think there are far better channels than me for that kind of concept on this. Yeah, this might be one of the better known ones, certainly for people overseas. For me, oh, there's a little bit of the, I guess, the hardcore sound to it in there. But what's unusual about this, for thrash metal in the 80s, and you'll hear it when the vocals kick in, yeah, I never heard of them back in the day, to be honest with you. In fact, I hadn't heard of most of these bands back then. I really didn't know anything about UK thrash. Apart from Acid Rain and it certainly is. No, I didn't. I did buy a few albums, so I did. Actually, this is what I was talking about. Sorry, I'll come back to that, Thomas. Sam Simpson on vocals, female vocals on thrash album. This cover is also really creepy. But yeah, there's some cool photos actually in the book. So these guys are from the Midlands as well. Does look fine. I mean, that's apparently she had a really hard time doing this thrash stuff because she had to. This is her singing properly, and she's come from the hardcore background. She's a lot more sort of shouting and growls and things, which she was a lot more comfortable with. but I think does a great job. Yeah, so for those not in the know, I'm not a death metal fan, much at all really. Although I did give myself a challenge of listening to 30 death metal debut albums. I got a few people to help me pick those out, Thomas being one of them. And I listened to 30 death metal albums in 30 days, and they're all debut albums. And the albums, it didn't turn me on to listening to death metal, to be honest with you. The albums that I really enjoyed were the ones that were pretty much more sort of on the extreme thrash, I guess, or more extreme thrash, probably not extreme thrash by today's standards. So the likes of, was it Autopsy, Obituary, I've recently picked up the first Possessed album, and that's one that I wasn't actually part of that challenge. Gorguts as well. So there were some albums. I guess I could do a video one time showing my favourite tracks from those albums, but I've probably got about 7 or 8 death metal albums now, which would have been unheard of 2 years ago. So there we go. We all live and learn, but it's given me a nice little segment of my collection to dive into on occasion when I'm in the mood. But no, I can't see myself ever diving too much deeper. Yeah, it is. It's quite unusual. I mean, there are a couple. There's like Mean Streak as well, but they're not a UK band. But few and far between. I reckon they were more of maybe a token gesture by a lot of the record labels. Regardless of how good bands were, they would be like, oh, we've got a female-fronted band, we don't need another one. You know, it doesn't matter how good they are or what have you. So, different times. But this is a good album. So, Sacrilege Within the Prophecy. I don't know how easy this one is to come by now. As I say, it's on Metal Blade. Not only is it unusual that it's female fronted, but as I say, having a UK thrash metal band on a big label like Metal Blade is quite an achievement for them, I think. And I've got another one next that is also these guys next jumped to a big label for their first release, and that's Brendan mentioned it earlier, but he's buggered off now. That's DAM. Damn. Death and Mayhem. Some people say that I think it's Death and Mayhem, something like that. But in pieces I've read of the band, they say that's not actually, but I think it might be in the write-up. So this is an anniversary edition of Inside Out. We got this off eBay, and it's actually Jason McLaughlin that's selling them. Metal Mickey found this and found out it was the guy that was selling them, and said if you go to his eBay page, he will send you a signed copy. And he did. They've got 2 albums. This is their second album, Inside Out. No, it's not. It's their first album, is it? I forget. What is this from? I think this is... I have to look it up. Mine's gone blank. This isn't the original cover. I think this is the cover that they originally wanted, but not the original cover that was released when the album first came out. So yeah, Human Wreckage was the first album. This came out in 1991. I think I prefer... so that's definitely the better of the 2. I think I prefer Human Wreckage. But you won't be surprised, Mike, that we're on opposite ends of the... when it comes to bands that we like. But the track I'm going to play off this one is called Thought for the Day. It's a good 7 minutes long, this one, so it'll pad things out a little bit. And that is track 4. Again, switcheroo, bish, bash, bosh. These are a good band. Now, these guys went straight onto Noise Records. forgot on the other switch. Too many switches. I do like the vocals on over and down. Just DAM. Yeah, I really do like that first album. I like this one as well. Don't get me wrong. In fact, it's quite interesting. So, the original album, I think, just had this guy on the cover. Different colours. There was quite a browny cover, but this is the original artwork that they wanted, which is a lot more gnarly. Yeah, apparently, from what I've read, is they could hardly play. They literally went out to Germany to record the album, and they had to get a lot of help from the. They got quite a famous producer off that first album. That's incredible. It was Harris Johns, that's right, and yeah, he basically had to teach him how to be a band, which is probably why Inside Out was obviously they're much more accomplished musicians by this, because it was a couple of years later. Boom boom. Well, that was cool. Other than having to go to Wrexham, that isn't cool. A joke. How I have not heard of that band. No doubt that you have a copy of those songs, I'm guessing. Cheers, everybody. Look at that, that's why I never worked in a pub. Got any photos on the book? Both of their albums are available on Dive reissues. Yeah, it's kind of it's thrash, but it's also it's like it shows that thrash doesn't have to be a million miles an hour. It can just be. It can be slower as well. fact, I think didn't they? There's that. I think it's on the Human Wreckage album. There's a bonus track, which is the recordings that they did. They did a show with Candlemass. Not 3-chord thrash, or 3-way thrash or something. Yeah, the first album has 5. The reissue has 5 tracks from Hammersmith Odeon in 1989. And that whole video is on YouTube. Three-way thrash it's called. If you search up my daughter says that, search up 3-way thrash. It was Dark Angel, Damn and Candlemass. Bit of a strange lineup, but I guess at that time people were really too much about it. Didn't have to split genres in the show. It was a good show and good bands, you could put them all together, but interesting that they got on the bill with the likes of Candlemass and Dark Angel. Yeah, it's a pretty cool show. Okay, that was Damn and the track Thought for the Day off Inside Out from 1991. This reissue came out in 2012, and there should still be copies flying about if you want to check them out. Candle thrash. Nice. Okay, now we are going to go back to Wales. Started off in Wales, obviously, with Tiger Tails, who are a glam band doing thrash. But now we've got a Welsh band doing thrash. I don't know if any of you saw Cavernous Carnage, his live stream with John. Rocket Metal Plus was on it, and they were showing UK thrash albums, and John, being a fellow Welshman, showed the Torto Corpse World's Got a Problem album. So I thought I would grab this and show as well. I know what you're thinking, the name Torto Corpse. It's one of those awesome names, but you instantly think this is another Lawnmower Death, and I don't know whether that went against them. It may well have, but given this is 1991 and thrash was on its arse, they probably didn't have a chance anyway. But Torto Corpse, these guys were deadly serious, and this is a half decent album. I'm not going to lie to you, it's a half decent album. They got the name Torto Corpse because when they were coming up with the names, they wanted to be a super fast thrash band, so they thought of something opposite, and they were going to call themselves something like Dead Tortoise, but then they came up with Torto Corpse instead. So the song I'm going to play for you is called Atomic Attack. It's the first track off the album. A couple of brothers in the band, Tim Hamill, Steve Hamill, and Tony Calvert on vocals. They're the three main guys in the band. The initial demos and things that they put together were all done with sort of drum machines at the time, because they couldn't find anyone to play the double bass drums fast enough. And then Ivan Ho on drums, he came in. He came in when they came to record the album, but it was really the other three guys that were the brains behind the band. So here we go. Let's listen to a bit of Atomic Attack. Try to get past the name. Try to get past the name. I promise you, it's not as bad as it you may well think it's going to be. Bit harsh, that, Simon. Bit harsh. Good. There's some fans out there. Thrash Turtle, maybe. If my gift to you this Saturday night in the UK, or Sunday morning for you, Simon, is Torto Corpse, then my job here is done. Hey, John. I thought you'd done a Marillion deep dive already, John, to be fair. Did you not? With, is it with Jeff and hand grenades and bombs? I can't remember this channel. Jeff. Always. This is all UK thrash as well, Mr. Metal and Beer Small. Yeah, I definitely got a. Tony Calvert on vocals definitely has a Motorheady vibe to him. Oh, I've almost forgot. This is one of those gems that you get when you buy a second-hand album. There's nothing I like more than when you find an original merch sheet. This one's tiny, of course, too dark to see. But you can get a Tortoise Corpse t-shirt. I hope you can see that. What a kind of lizard dinosaur head has to do with tortoises, I don't know. On the back is they've got a track called Psycho Taff, and if you know, you know. A taffy is somebody from my hometown of Cardiff, where the River Taff runs through. It's generally it can be a derogatory name, can just be a friendly nickname. But apparently one of the guys in the band, I think it's Steve's dad's girlfriend, was, story goes that she would get up at 4 AM and paint the house in the nude. Someone described her as a psychopath, and they thought that was great, so they came up with the name. But you get a t-shirt for £7.50 and a sweatshirt for 13 quid back in 1989. So make all checks and postal orders payable to Tortoise Corpse. Imagine going into a bank and setting up an account and writing down an account name, Tortoise Corpse. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so that was short, well, 4 minutes, shortish I guess for a thrash track. Atomic Attack, written by the Hamill brothers of Tortoise Corpse. Will's got a problem. Right, how are we doing in the comments? I've been chatting away and missed a few. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Finnish thrash arg. What was that, arg? Okay, I'm making a note of that one, especially it has been endorsed by Mika as well. Was that Arg or Tortoise Corpse? Who knows? Or ARG even. What does that stand for? Okay, next up. I'm going to play two songs by this band because they are, all the songs are pretty much a short, sharp shock. If you remember, the Wardance EP I showed earlier was called Short Sharp Shock. This group is called Short Sharp Shock, or SSS, and they were formed in the 2000s. They're from Liverpool. This is from 2007, and this is kind of hardcore thrash crossover, all those different things, a little bit of everything. But lots of short songs. And what I do like about this album is I like it when bands put in little snippets from movies. Ancient Rotten Graveguards. There we go. Yeah, I wouldn't have got that without you telling me. Yeah, so SSS, Short Sharp Shock. Two tracks I'm going to play. and they're not back to back, so I'm going to have to remember to actually stop it. The first one is called Overlord, and I love this one because it's got a little soundbite from a movie. I think it's Scum. It's kind of like a UK Borstal movie, pretty famous. Right, let's see if I can get all the buttons clicked in advance this time. Okay, we should be good. Overlord is a track. No track numbers. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here we go. This is only a couple of minutes long. 3 minutes long. And then we'll play another one called, well, the title track, SSS. Love this start. Goosebump start.
What's up with you, weirdo? You're striking, dear. You might get left alone here, but I'll cut you a bleeding ribbons if I get any of your poxy neck. We're just treated like scum. But us, we're gonna fight back.
This is on Eric, by the way. Yeah, it's face ripping. Good evening, Mark. See you with a G. Not much of a Scouse accent coming through. I just love it when they put bands put snippets of movies in. It's awesome. Liverpool fans. Not like those Blackpool softies. Right, this one's only a minute and a half. This is the, I guess, the title track, SSS. Got what we're doing then for a moment. This is so black. At least. Cool, yeah. So, Short Sharp Shock, 2007. Some ripping sort of hardcore crossover thrash. Dustbolt. That's a new band to me. What are we talking there? Is that thrash? Yeah, lots of energy. They are literally a short, sharp shock. There's something like 15 or so songs on there. None of them are more than like 3 minutes. It's a ripper. It was a good find. Yeah, I do have that one. Not gonna be on this one, Mark, but I was saying that there's so much kind of good sort of deep cuts and bands I think that people probably wouldn't have heard of that I'll definitely in a while do this again, but with some different bands, or maybe even some of the same bands but some different tracks to keep it interesting. But yeah, that Hospital of Death CD is fantastic. What have we got here? I think you've probably described Lancaster pretty well there, Simon. Thrash band from Germany. Right, I'm sold. I am making a note of that one. Cool. Okay. Let's carry on. Back to the vinyl. This time it's another band that I'm not sure if they actually released any albums themselves, but if you remember when I earlier on we played a track from Arbitrator, and I said that they were an offshoot of, or the next progression from punk to thrash metal of the band, the Verucas. Now some of the people didn't think that Arbitrator was metal enough, so they formed another band. There was another offshoot of Arbitrator called Metal Messiah, and I think they did actually they released one album. That's right, they released one album called Honor Among Thieves, but I don't have that album. That's one I would like to try and track down if I can. It's quite hard. The vinyl's never had a reissue. I looked earlier today, and it's one of those ones where there's one or two sellers and they're wanting £60+ for it, which is not many albums are worth that much to me. A UK thrash metal album is never going to be worth that much to me, if I'm perfectly honest with you. It needs a reissue, and it needs or at least a CD reissue, which it did have about 10 years or so ago, I think. But yes, so there's another compilation. I know Jason, if he's still watching, he knows this one. This is a Taste of Armageddon, and this has some cool bands and some not so cool bands. So we've got Treason, Deviant, Sniper. They're good. They'll feature in a future stream. First Blood, Arbitrator that I played earlier, but the song on here is Memories of Tomorrow, which is my favourite Arbitrator song. So we've got Metal Messiah. This is what these guys look like. Up there, so former members of kind of Arbitrator and Verucas. Resentment, Wreckage. I might actually play out the stream with Wreckage. It's not the thrashiest song, but I do like that song as well. Warp Speed and Purgatory. Many of these bands didn't really get much further than this compilation, but that's the beauty of finding gems like this. So we're gonna play Metal Messiah. I like simple labels like that. It's a compilation, so it's never going to have a great one, but it's on Master Records. I was distributed by Pinnacle. But yes, let's listen to some Metal Messiah. Got a very metal name. They chose Metal Messiah as a name because they wanted to show they were more metal than Arbitrator were. Right, let's just switch over to the vinyl channel. The switching over between channels, by the way, is because the way I've got my hi-fi hooked up, CDs are just louder, and if I have to keep adjusting the sliders, it's easier for me just to have two kind of channels set up. So here we go. So the vinyl one has the volume just boosted up a little bit more, so it's roughly around the same as the CD. Or at least that's what I think it is anyway. So this is Honor Among Thieves. Cheers, fella. Thanks for joining. And hey, everyone in the chat. So if you are in and you haven't said hello yet, please let me know that you're watching. War effect. Okay, as long as they're better than the warship, we'll be fine. Oh, Crusade. I don't remember that, Mark. Is Moral Crusade the band or the album? Oh, the an act of violence, is that the one? No, that's actually on the same label as the compilation I played earlier, CMFT. I've forgotten all about that one, Mark. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, I'm not gonna stand here and tell everybody that UK thrash is better, but there are some gems in there. I'm happy to pick them out and have a listen to them. And it's still love the US, German, all the other countries' thrash, but I don't know. There's something about UK thrash, especially with it being not well known, that I like to dig into it. Yeah, very welcome, mate. That pleases me more than anything. Just to like, kind of like share stuff that I enjoy that other people pick up on as well. I have found so many bands that way through watching YouTube videos as well, so it's kind of good that I'm able to pay that back to some degree. Yeah, I thought you'd like that one. Definitely more traditional metal sounding than Arbitrator. And of course the Verucas got back together after, I think, in the early 90s and carried on playing their hardcore punk side. And they weren't tainted by having turned into a thrash metal band like so many punk bands. They tried to do thrash. They didn't enjoy it. It didn't work out for them, and they lost half their fans. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm doing now. I've been doing the videos, the standard videos, just showing stuff and describing them probably pretty poorly. So I just thought, why not let the music do the talking? Obviously, I'm not going to be in a position where I can monetize my channel, and you can't monetize your channel when you play music. So I'll just do it now because I thoroughly enjoy interacting with you guys and also playing the music and sharing the music, and I can do it first hand now. So this is the way forward for me at the moment. All right, Mick. Good to see you, mate. Oh yeah, so this is the band's called Metal Messiah. They do have an album out called Honor Among Thieves, and this is the song Honor Among Thieves that's just finished. But this is on a compilation called A Taste of Armageddon that came out, I think, around what year was this? I think it was 1989. They do have one full-length album out, but it hasn't really had much in terms of reissues. It's one I'd like to see, but again, it's a little bit niche, and it's UK thrash metal. So unless somebody, I guess, like Dive Bomb picks it up, it may well just stay one of those obscure bands that not that many people, I guess, are going to hear. Okay, yeah, so that was Metal Messiah. We're going to have another one off that compilation album towards the end. How are we doing for time? Good, good. Not that I have any sort of time constraints on this, but do like to keep these to around, I guess, 19 minutes. But I'm going to go over because I've still got tracks to play. Yeah, cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's awesome to hear. I'm thoroughly enjoying doing this now. Slightly different format, slightly different way of doing things. Don't have to worry about recording, and so I didn't do any editing at all. And I did years ago, and then I kind of gave it up. And I would be at the point where if I fucked up in the first 5 minutes, I would just redo the video. But after that, everything just stayed in, warts and all. And then you have to go through the rigmarole of uploading it. And I don't know. I lost the motivation to plan and make videos. Still have to do some planning with this, obviously, to come up with the playlist. But I much prefer. I really enjoy just coming on here, chatting away, and it doesn't matter if anything goes wrong. I'm kind of beyond that now. Right, so this is, of all the bands that I'm playing tonight, this band is the newest to me, and I discovered them. I talked about Slammer earlier on, and the fact that they reformed to play at the Lords of the Land Festival. Now, the Lords of the Land Festival had Acid Rain headlining, Zentrix second on the bill, then there was Lawnmower Death, and then Slammer reformed and played their first gig in 30 years and were absolutely fantastic. It was an all-day festival. There were 8 bands in all, split across 2 venues, and those 4 played at like the bigger venue, but there was a smaller venue beforehand. 4 bands on that. In fact, I don't remember the names of the other 3, but there was one that stood out for me, and that was a band from Aberdeen called Thrashist Regime. I love the name instantly. These guys were formed, God, probably around first decade of this year, probably late first decade of this year. They've got a mini album, I think, or maybe 2 full-length albums, but this is their second album that came out in 2018. Their first one came out in 2012, and this is called A Carnival of Monsters. And they had loads of energy on the stage. They're kind of well, you tell me what you think they sound like. They're more on the, they don't sound like Anthrax, but they're more on the Anthrax style than, say, Slayer or Metallica or what have you. They've got amazing artwork. These guys apparently don't get out of Aberdeen much, so they're not that well known. But I bought both of their CDs at the merch table. I mean, look at that. That's fucking awesome. The artwork is obviously quite reminiscent of another famous cover that you may well know. But the attention to detail they've put in these things, and it's not even a major label release. I think this may be, there's Fat Hippie Records. So Fat Hippie Records apparently is a local label that promotes local music up in the north of Scotland. A lot of the lyrics are they're kind of based on films. That's a great song as well. Antarctic Attack, and it's a song about ants attacking the Antarctic. So there's a little bit of humour in these guys, but not so humorous that they're just a joke band. The song I'm going to play is called Headshot, and I think this track is absolutely fantastic. Would love to see these guys play again. Say lots of energy. Switch that to that and go track 3. So this is Headshot by Thrashist Regime. Love that name. Don't let me down now, CD player. My CD player is a bit old. It gets a little bit tired. Let's see if you're playing now. Right, I have a backup plan. So I've got, I mentioned this right at the start, so we went on there. So I've, as my CD player is being a little bit of a tired old man. What I do is whenever I buy CDs, I always rip them as lossless and put them onto this nice wee little high fidelity music player that I've got, and then I listen to most of the CDs when I'm out and about, and then when I'm home, I focus on the vinyl, and it's on here. So I am just going to find it. There's a lot of tracks on here. It's like a 400 gig card. Let me just check that you can. Right, how's that for volume? I think I might have disappeared there for a second. Can you guys hear that okay? Oh, cheers, mate. I keep meaning to send you that Elimination spare copy that I've got, so sounds like a good trade. Absolutely, and as I say, I would never go out of my way and say or piss anybody off by saying this is better than US thrash, because all my favourite thrash is pretty much US or some German stuff as well. But I just like digging down and finding out what was there. They were all playing catch up. They were all trying to get in as the interest in thrash was waning. But cheers to Boomer. Thank you very much for coming along, joining me tonight. Yeah, it was. I believe it was a lot bigger. Last year when they did it, Mick, it was just local Scottish bands, which was great. But I believe, and I never went before, but I believe they had some bigger names and it was a much bigger festival. But this was their first time they've got it post-COVID. Cheeky bastard. He's turning up. Okay. Oh, yeah. Wait, this isn't. I think hold on. I'm going to stop. I'm going to play that one. I'm going to play. Gone to switch the CD player off, and it's not the CD player. Yeah, so I wasn't quite set up for doing the digital one, and I've got it pointing at the wrong device. Right, so all you could hear then was through my. You lost me again, haven't you? Is through my through the microphone. So I'm going to play that track again, and hopefully it should be a bit louder now, because this song is great. Is that better? Yeah, there was no welly, let alone more welly. Should be better. Cool. I thought you were going to leave me hanging then. This is a zombie movie track. It's like a short, sharp one, this as well. It's that kind of upbeat thrash, fast thrash. They're not trying to be gnarly. They're not trying to sell your soul to the devil. But they've got songs about Universal Soldier, Soldier of Fortune. They've got an XCOM related one. Let's say Antarctic Attack. Yeah, he's if you see him play, he's nothing like Creator. He's very much bouncing about on stage like nobody's business. This is the band, Thrashist Regime. Just the 2 albums out, but I don't know if I'd call it a tour festival. I think they just decided to go small this year, so it was just in Glasgow, and it was across 2 venues, and there were 8 bands, and 4 big UK, but they stuck it just to UK thrash. So the only thing was though, it ended really late because it was in Glasgow and I had to get back to Edinburgh, so I missed half of the Acid Rain set. But being an old git, I couldn't stay on my feet for a full day anyway. Headshot. There's no headshot. Yeah, so Thrashist Regime, one of my finds of last year, even though that album came out in, 2018. That was great stuff. And killer artwork as well. I believe this guy, the guy that does this artwork, also did the new the last Acid Rain album. They were very keen. I had a good chat with them after. They were very keen to kind of point out who did the artwork, of which I paid no attention until just thinking about it now. There we go. All right. Moving on. Talking of bands that didn't take the record off again, so I'm a bit behind. Talking about bands that started off with a sort of hardcore. In this case, this is a crust punk band that decided to turn their attention to thrash metal, and whereas the Verucas reformed as Arbitrator and other members as Metal Messiah, this band decided to carry on under their original name and subsequently alienated themselves from all the fans that they built up in the punk era, and from what I've read in Glasper's Bible, they've completely basically washed their hands of this album. They don't consider it to be any good, but I really like it, and that's Hell Bastard and Natural Order from 1990. But as I say, the band themselves don't really, they went back to their hardcore ways, and they just don't want to be associated with this style of music anymore, which is fine for them, but they did tarnish their reputation as a hardcore band. They got the thrash look kind of nailed. They're on Earache, on a decent label. What I love about this, and you get this on a lot of 80s albums, is all the band's names and addresses are on it. I mean, their full names, their full addresses. No GDPR back in 1989, of course. And if you Google the addresses, you can find out where these guys lived on Google Maps, which is they probably never anticipated that back in 1989. Not, of course, that I've done that. But the song I am going to play for you is called Black Force, which is track 2, side 2. But I think this is a great album. Okay, let's go back to vinyl channel. Bish, bash. Right, if I've not fucked this up again, here we go. do. Hell Bastard. I love it when a band has bastard in the name. That was another video I did a while ago. Maybe that's one I can update, where I showed albums, bands and tracks that had the word bastard in it. One of the best words ever invented. I totally agree with you, Mark. They nailed the thrash bit. They just didn't. It just wasn't for them at the end of the day, which is fair enough. Yes. Got any interesting picks in here on them. So these guys are from the north east, Newcastle way. Yeah, from Newcastle. Light shots. Such a great book. Amazing. CDs that come with it are awesome as well, but the book for me is it's the most. I'm the sort of person, when I get a book, I want it to stay pristine, so I'm very careful reading through it. But this one, I mentioned it before, it's dog-eared, it's got things circled in it, it's got coffee stains on it. It's a great read. And I still haven't got, I've had it for years now, and I still haven't got through the whole thing. Brendan was on here earlier, BVD, and he mentioned a band that he found from it that I just don't think I've even come across in there. It's so jam-packed. How we like in Hell Bastard. Absolutely. You've really got to enunciate, you bastard. They went back to their punk, sort of hardcore crust punk roots, which I've sampled it because I wanted to hear what it was like, but it's not for me. I don't mind a bit of punk, but it's not something I have a great deal of at all. There we go. That was a Black Force by Hell Bastard on Earache. Mosh 22. Cool album, but it's pretty much, as far as thrash metal goes, they were a one and done band, and they just went back to what they like the best. But I, for one, am glad they experimented and got to hear that. Okay, we're coming up to the last sort of 2 to 3 songs I'll play for you tonight. This next band it's another more of a modern UK thrash metal band from 2011 this album came out. So it's from, these guys are from Birmingham. They're called Eradicator. And this is their debut album called Dystopia. These guys have 3 albums out in total. I think I prefer the second album a little more to this one. It feels just a little bit better put together. The third album, though, they've completely changed their style. I blind bought it. It's called Obscura. And I struggle to get through it now. They've really, really changed the style. And fair play for them for wanting to try something different. I think they've even got a different, maybe a different vocalist. I don't remember, but for me the first 2 Eradicator albums are pretty good. This is Dystopia. I'm going to play Hell's Sentinels so you can get a flavour of what these guys are like as well. In fact, I'm not going to play the CD. I'm going to play the ripped version of the track again because CD players already let me down today. So just 1 second. I do like my B-list records and artists. Right, okay, we're going to go the last one of the scheduled programming for tonight, but there is another one I'm going to stick on after, related to the first track. So if you were here for the opening of the stream, I'm going to play another track from that record just to close things out because it'll clear the room quite easily. So I'm going to go back to the Taste of Armageddon. This track I would say isn't properly it's not a full-on thrasher by any means, and it feels a little bit of a space filler for the album, basically because this album is supposed to be a thrash album. But the song Dogs of War by Wreckage, I just thought was really, really good. So I want to play that one out for tonight. And I was going to play out with this one being the last track, but changed my mind. I'm going to have one more after this. And then we'll close it out for the night because I've kept not only you but me long enough. There we go. Where's track 3? There we go. Alright, so that was the end of Resentment. Violence is Now, but this isn't really thrash, but it's on a thrash album. I love this track. Sounds a bit like what's his name? Justin from The Darkness. It was those high bits. Justin Hawkins, that's it, isn't it? Not really thrash, is it? Sean gets everything. Hey Ed, good to see you, mate. I'm pretty much going to be finishing up in the next 10 minutes or so, but I'm glad you can make it. Of course, you can always go back and check out some of the early tracks I've been playing. But good to see you anyway. I will put kind of chapter markers on this when it's finished, so people can find particular tracks that they maybe want to hear again. Yeah, no worries, man. It's the trouble with all these time zones, isn't it? We're all in different places, but yeah, awesome that you could make it. Yeah, so that was Dogs of War. That was not really. It's on a thrash album, compilation album, but I don't really class that one as thrash. But I do like that song, and I was going to play out that song, drop my mic, and then bugger off. But I'm going to come back to loop back to where we started. So I started off by playing some Tiger Tales. So those of you that were at the start, it was a UK thrash stream, this, but I started off by playing the cover version of Creeping Death by Tiger Tales, a UK band, but not a thrash band. So it was US thrash played by a UK glam band. But there's also Peace Cells on here. So in order to clear the room, and to be honest with you, it's not that bad. It's not that bad at all. In fact, it's better than you would expect a glam metal band to do thrash metal. But I'm going to close out now. I'm going to play Peace Cells Megadeth cover by Tiger Tales. Oh, let me stand up. I can't see it from there. Remember, this is Tiger Tales. For those of you who don't know Tiger Tales, this is what we're talking about. Who knew? So again, this isn't UK thrash, but it's thrash played by a UK band. Glam, glam, glam. I mentioned they're doing like a 35th or anniversary tour of either that album or the second one, and I'm really tempted to go and see him. What the hell? But thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. I've had an absolute blast. Picked up some great suggestions of music to check out going forward. I hope you like this new format that I'm doing right now. The next one I do, so there won't be one. Yeah, some people say it doesn't grow at all these days, does it? There won't be a stream next week. Next week I'm meeting up with a lot of some of the guys that are in the chat here, like Mark G, Metal Mickey, John Rocket Metal Plus, Metal Marty Mac, many more, Scott the Rock Scout, and we're all going to Glasgow for a death metal festival, Dead of Winter Fest it is. Clearly I'm not going for the music, I'm going for the chat and the banter and a chance to meet up with some absolutely fantastic people that I've met through YouTube. But I'll be back again in a couple of weeks, and I don't know, maybe we'll do some new wave British heavy metal, maybe just some 80s metal, maybe some other UK style metal, I don't know, but I'll probably put together some sort of playlist and have a good chat with you guys, because it's been fun. Yeah, cheers Mark, looking forward to it. Yeah, thanks for joining, Rich. Unfortunately, I'm just about to close out, but this will be up there if you want to go back and revisit any of the songs I've played tonight. Thanks for tuning in, though. Yeah, thanks, Jason. This is very different from the vocals he does on the other album. Cheers, everybody.